Hello, my name is Lisa Sims. I was molested, beaten, abused, abandoned, and rejected. My painful years of abuse began as a child and lasted through much of my adult life. For many years, I suffered from major depression and I've had several nervous breakdowns. Several years ago, when the Lord asked me to write a book about my abuse, pain, and suffering, it was so hard to tell my story. It took 10 years to write it. Each time I sat down to write, I wept. I simply could not go through with it. I thought, how do I bear my innermost pains and secrets without reliving the pain and hurting those close to me who would surely be affected by my story? How could I reveal that the horrific abuse was from my own parents? How could I tell others that my painful abuse drove me into the arms of men who I thought would love me but physically, emotionally, sexually, and verbally abused and hated me? It was hard, but I knew I had to, so that many would be healed and delivered. And so I wrote my story. My book was released a few years ago, and many, while reading it, have been supernaturally healed and delivered. But my story was not over, so I recently added my new experiences to my story. My new and revised book, No One Would Love Her, testifies how the abuse drove me as a young woman to commit suicide, but I lived and found and experienced God's love and His purpose for my life. I overcame the heartbreak of abuse, rejection, feelings of worthlessness and despair by experiencing God's love, healing, deliverance, and purpose for my life. My book, No One Would Love Her, is available on Amazon in paperback and Kindle versions. The paperback is just $12.99 US, and the Kindle version is $5.99 US. It is also available online at Barnes & Noble in paperback and ebook version. The events in my book happened a long time ago. I was completely set free many years ago, and I'm still walking in freedom. Because of God's healing, deliverance, and His purpose for my life, I am an apostle and prophet, a counselor, and a conflict resolution specialist. I have a Bachelor of Arts degree with honors in psychology and communications and a master's degree with honors in international relations and conflict resolution with a specialization in sexual exploitation of children and criminal profiling. Because of God's healing, deliverance, and His purpose for my life, I have a ministry to hurting and abused women, men, and children. I have a tremendous love and compassion for abused, hurting, and abandoned women, men, and children, and an anointing to heal the brokenhearted and the mentally and physically sick. Because of God's healing, deliverance, and His purpose for my life, I have over 30 years of experience in counseling and ministering healing and deliverance to abused and battered women, children, and men, and have counseled and ministered to hundreds of abused persons in many nations where I travel to minister. Because of God's healing, deliverance, and His purpose for my life, I have also counseled and rehabilitated prisoners and juvenile offenders in jails, prisons, and juvenile centers. Many of them have gone on to become productive men and women. I attribute it all to God. May God get the glory. As you read my deeply personal story, you will wonder why I had to suffer so much pain, abuse, shame, abandonment, and rejection. You may even question God as to why He allowed this to happen to me. I went through this for you, or someone you know who endured the same painful experiences that I have suffered, so that God could use me to minister healing and deliverance to them. I believe that it is only when you have had the same experiences as someone that you will be able to effectively help them through the healing, redemptive power of God. Women, both young and old, and men, yes, men, who have read my book have all received healing while reading it. I am every woman in this book. There is something for every woman to identify with in my book. No One Would Love Her. Every woman who has read of my experiences has said, that's me, to one, some, or all of my experiences. My true story of abuse will bring hope, healing, and deliverance to you. But you must first open up your heart to receive God's healing. He loves you no matter what you have done or what's been done to you. He just wants you to be free, whole, and well. Run into his outstretched arms and let him love you and heal the pain. My book, No One Would Love Her Again, is available on Amazon in paperback and Kindle versions. The paperback is just $12.99 US, and the Kindle version is $5.99 US. It is also available online at Barnes & Noble in paperback and e-book version. Why not pick up your copy today? May God bless you, and may He, as you read this book, find healing, hope, deliverance, and purpose for your life as well. God bless you.